Have you ever looked back at some big event, a stock market crash, an election, anything, and thought to yourself, yep, I totally saw that coming? Well, it turns out that's not just a feeling. It's a glitch, a little bug in your brain's software that's constantly rewriting history. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on how it works and how it completely distorts the way you see the world.
Okay, let's start with a really simple question. Who won the 2016 US presidential election? Right, Donald Trump. Easy. And today that outcome feels, well, it feels inevitable, doesn't it? It's a solid, unchangeable fact.
But I want you to try and travel back in time in your own mind. Be honest. On the day before the election, what did you think his chances were? Did you think he had a real shot, or was it a long shot? Because here's the thing. What you remember thinking might be completely different from what you actually thought back then.
That's the number, 15%. On election day itself, prediction markets, where people were betting real money, gave him just a 1 in 7 chance of winning. Most of the experts thought it was a sure thing for his opponent. And yet, so many of us look back now and say, yeah, I had a feeling he could pull it off. And we're not lying. It's just our brain quietly and automatically rewriting the past to make it fit the present.
So, this weird mental phenomenon, it actually has a name. And trust me, once you see it, you're going to start noticing it absolutely everywhere. It's called hindsight bias.
So here's the key idea. Before an event happens, the future is it's a fog, right? It's a huge cloud of possibilities. But the second the outcome is known, our brain looks back and highlights the one path that actually happened, making it seem like a bright, obvious, inevitable road. And it just deletes all the confusion and uncertainty we felt before.
This is probably the best analogy for it. Imagine a friend spoils a movie for you. When you finally watch it, every clue seems so obvious. You're like, of course the butler did it. Look at that shifty glance he gave in the first act. But if you hadn't known the ending, you would have been just as suspicious of the gardener or the maid, right? Hindsight bias spoils our own past for us in the exact same way.
Our brain really hates uncertainty, so it performs this super quick 3-step mental cleanup. First, it connects only the dots that lead to the final outcome. Then, it conveniently filters out all the evidence that pointed in a different direction. And finally, it serves you this neat, clean, tidy story that makes a chaotic world feel perfectly predictable. Okay, so this might sound like some harmless little memory quirk, right? But it actually has a profound impact on how we see huge world events, major business decisions, and even the choices we make in our own lives. Let's look at how this glitch rewrites reality out there in the wild.
We've all heard someone say this, or hey, maybe we've even thought it ourselves. After the 2008 housing market crash, suddenly everyone was an economic genius who saw it coming a mile away. In retrospect, it seems so clear. But what was it actually like before the crash?
The reality in 2007 was pure confusion. The chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve literally said they didn't see a nationwide decline in house prices on the horizon. Some of the smartest financial firms in the world were actually increasing their investments. Hindsight bias just erases all of that messy reality and hands us a simple but totally false narrative.
Oh, and here's another classic. It's such a great story, right? The big, clumsy dinosaur Blockbuster getting crushed by the quick, clever startup, Netflix. But was it really that inevitable from where Blockbuster was standing at the time?
Let's actually travel back to 2004. Blockbuster was an absolute giant, with thousands of stores and billions in revenue. Netflix, it was a tiny, niche company that was losing money mailing DVDs in red envelopes. And widespread streaming wasn't even a thing yet because most people's internet was way too slow. The future wasn't obvious at all. It was a total mystery.
And this glitch doesn't just mess with how we see history. It totally infects our personal decisions, especially with money. You can make the exact same choice, to buy a stock. If it goes up, your brain rewrites the story to be, I'm a genius. I did my research. I saw the signs. But if that same stock goes down, the story becomes, I just got unlucky. The market is crazy. It's hindsight bias working overtime to protect our ego.
So what's the big deal, right? Who cares if our memory is a little fuzzy? Well, this false sense of certainty isn't just a quirky flaw. It has some really serious, tangible consequences.
First, it makes us dangerously overconfident about our ability to predict the future. Second, it absolutely kills our ability to learn from our mistakes. I mean, if you think you knew the right answer all along, you'll never stop to figure out what you actually got wrong. And maybe worst of all, it turns us into really harsh judges of other people, criticizing them for not seeing what only looks obvious with the benefit of hindsight.
And yeah, it can literally hit you right in the wallet. Studies have found that investors who show a high degree of hindsight bias, the "I knew it all along" crowd, tend to take bigger, dumber risks. Over time, that leads them to underperform the market by as much as 5% year after year. That is a huge price to pay for feeling smart about the past.
Okay, but here's the good news. We are not powerless against this glitch. Once you're aware of it, which you are now, you can use a few simple, powerful tools to fight back and start making much better decisions.
This one is incredibly powerful. Before you make a big decision, just take 2 minutes and write down what you think will happen and, crucially, why. This creates a paper trail, a record of what you actually thought in the moment. That way, the future version of you can't come back and lie to the past version of you. The evidence is right there in black and white.
This is a total game changer for your mindset. You have to learn to separate the quality of your decision from the quality of the outcome. See, a good decision that runs into bad luck is still a good decision, and a terrible, reckless decision that just happens to get lucky is still a bad one. You learn by analyzing your process, not by getting fooled by the results.
Our brain loves to think in simple black and white certainties. It tells us we knew something was going to happen, 100%. This is the exact thought you need to learn to catch and correct.
Reframing your memory this way it's more honest. It acknowledges the real uncertainty you felt at the time. I thought there was a pretty decent chance of X, and what do you know, X happened. That simple change can rewire how you remember your own judgment, and it keeps you humble and grounded in reality.
When you get right down to it, hindsight bias offers us a really comforting illusion that the world is neat, tidy, and predictable. It makes us feel safe. But that comfort, it's a lie. The world is, and always has been, a chaotic and uncertain place.
So the next time an event unfolds, and you feel that familiar little tug in your head, that smug little voice that says, "I knew it all along," just pause for a second. Ask yourself this question, because the sharpest thinkers aren't the ones who feel the smartest after the fact. They're the ones who have the courage to embrace and respect uncertainty before the future ever arrives.
If you learned something new today, please give this video a like. And to watch more videos like this every week, please subscribe to Thinking Mind channel.